Hey, what's up, rabid Razorback family? As of the time I'm recording this, fall camp officially starts tomorrow, and we are less than 30 days away from Arkansas football. So now feels like a good time to lock in a preseason record projection for the Hogs in 2023. Now, before we take a look at the schedule, I'm going to step out of the way for a second for those of you who didn't see the media's preseason poll for the projected order of finish in each division. As you can see, they've got Arkansas at number 5, which I don't agree with, but I do understand. I don't think there's any doubt that from a sheer talent perspective, Alabama, LSU, and Texas A&M are ahead of the other 4 in the division, Arkansas included. I do believe the Hogs are more talented than Auburn and Mississippi State this season. I think it's pretty close between Ole Miss, but I give Arkansas a slight edge if for no other reason than they are one of the 3 teams in the division that is very confident in their quarterback position. Third-year starter KJ Jefferson is a luxury that most teams, especially in the West Division, do not have. Apart from him and Daniels at LSU, Rogers at Mississippi State, these other schools are still trying to determine who that starter is going to be. Obviously, each situation is unique, and some are farther along in that evaluation process than others, but ultimately they don't project to have the same quality of quarterback as the 3 schools I mentioned. Now, taking a look at the actual schedule, I've looked it over multiple times and convinced myself of multiple different scenarios, and ultimately I realistically see anywhere from 7 to 9 wins on this schedule. I think you almost have to win all of your home games to have the type of season you want to have. Versus Western Carolina, Kent State, BYU, Mississippi State, Auburn, Florida International, and Missouri. And I think there's a high chance they will be favored in all 7 of those games. So there's realistically 7 right there. Now, obviously, another huge determining factor in Arkansas's final record is going to be in how they navigate that brutal 4-game road stretch. They start by heading to Death Valley to take on the Tigers before heading to Jerry's World to take on the Aggies in a neutral site game. That should be exciting with plenty of headlines as former Arkansas head coach Bobby Petrino looks to help Jimbo Fisher right his offense in College Station. Then they head to the Grove to take on Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss before, they take a little casual trip down to Tuscaloosa to take on Nick Saban and his Crimson Tide. I think objectively you've got to find a way to pull out at least 1 win during that 4-game stretch. But if they can find a way to pull out 2 or somehow more wins during that 4-game stretch, then I think they would be in a great position to win at least 8 games this season, which would put them solidly above national expectations. And really 8-4 is where I currently kind of feel comfortable planting my flag on this season. I feel like 7 wins is a pretty good lock. 8-4 is realistic. Then when you start talking 9+ wins, I feel like that's a range where I more so have to kind of tilt my head back and enjoy the Kool-Aid a little bit to reach that point. A season like that is obviously going to require certain things going your way and some question marks and uncertainties heading into the season becoming strengths as the season progresses. While all that's certainly possible and they could win 9 or more games, just as conversely, it's possible things could go against them and they could end up losing more games. So in looking at it as objectively as my rabid Razorback blood will allow, I like 8-4, although I understand why some people might be feeling higher or lower on the team at this point. As we've gone over, you've got the brutal road stretch that'll be as tough a 4-game stretch as any a team will face in the country. But you've also got the 7 pretty winnable home games with some other games like at Florida mixed in there. Arkansas has never won at the Swamp, but there's a pretty realistic chance they go into that game as a favorite or at least a pick'em. Mississippi State is a team I wouldn't be surprised to see as a bit of a spoiler team this season. Not one that I believe is actually going to compete to win the division, but a team that if you overlook them can absolutely ruin your season or momentum. Then lest we forget the anomaly, the curse, the embarrassment, whatever you want to call it, that is Missouri. 9 times out of 10, Arkansas comes into that game with the better football team, but 9 times out of 10 in recent years, Missouri has won the football game. Although that will surely, Lord please, come to an end this season. But there's certainly plenty of games that could go either way, and there's no way to truly project how good these teams are actually going to be until they take the field. So really, anyone's guess is as good as any at this point, and that's why I want to know what you think. Comment what record you predict the Arkansas Razorbacks will finish with in the 2023 regular season. Well, Razorback Nation, rabid Razorback family, that's all for now. As always, thank y'all for y'all's time. Thank y'all for all the love and support. It's more greatly appreciated than you realize. And until next time, I pray the Lord keeps you all safe and blessed. And of course, go Hogs!